Let's start by sitting up into our tabletop position. Making sure your hips are just stacked over your knees. You want your legs just hip width apart. Hands are nice and wide. We're going to start with our cat-cow. So let's inhale and draw our sitting bones up. Draw your shoulders away from the ears. And exhale as you press the mat away. Round that upper spine and tuck that chin to chest. Inhale, curl your sitting bones up. Draw your shoulders away from the ears. And exhale, round that upper spine and tuck that chin to chest. We'll do that 2 more times. So inhale, curl your sitting bones up. Just let your belly melt down. And exhale, round that upper spine and tuck that chin to chest. And just release your spine back to that tabletop position. From here, we're going to walk our hands forward. So we're sitting up in a hatha pose. Hips are going to stay stacked over the knees. We're only walking our hands forward. And we're going to bring our forehead down towards the floor. If your forehead's not quite going down there, you could grab a blanket or a cushion and just pop it underneath your forehead. If you need some elevation. And then if it feels a little bit too strong on the shoulders, you could also modify this by just taking the hands that little bit wider, coming more into a V shape. So just having a feel what feels good for you. Let's hold it here for 3 more breaths. And then slowly make your way back up to your tabletop position. We're going to take our right leg out of the back, just tuck our toes under and then draw that heel back so that we're getting that nice stretch creeping up our leg. Hold it there. And then slowly release it back. This time pick up the right leg, cross it over top of the left, and then take a peek over your left shoulder so that you're feeling that side stretch down that right side of the body. Then slowly pick up that leg, take it round to the outside, and you can either turn that foot out or keep it straight. Shift your weight into your left hand and inhale that right hand up towards the ceiling. Draw the fingers together and extend through that top hand. Eye gaze could either be up towards that top hand or just keep the head in line with the spine if it doesn't feel good on the neck. And then slowly just bring that right hand down towards the floor. Draw that right leg back in. Let's go on to the other side. So let's just take that left leg out this time. Draw the heel back. Hold it there. And then slowly release it back. Pick that left leg up, cross it over top of the right. And then look over that right shoulder to bring that side stretch into that left side. And then picking that left leg up, let's swing it round to the outside this time. We're going to shift our weight into that right hand and inhale that left hand up towards the ceiling. Once again, we're either looking up towards that top hand or we're going to keep our head in line with the spine. Let's hold it here for 2 more breaths. And slowly just release that left hand back down. Draw that left leg back in to your tabletop position. Let's set up for our sunbird. So we're going to just take our left leg out at the back. We want our toes just pointing down. I'm going to try to keep our leg just in line with our hip. We're going to shift our weight into that left hand and inhale as we extend that right hand forward. And then exhale, release them both back down. Let's go on to the other side. So this time just taking that right leg out of the back. Toes are pointing down. Keeping that leg once again in line with the hip. And inhale as we extend that left arm forward. Hold it there. And then on that next exhale, you can just release them both back down. Draw your big toes together. Take your knees wide, sit back towards your heels. Let's walk our hands forward and bring our forehead to the floor and rest briefly into our child's pose. And we'll just start some flowing movement now. So let's inhale and rise back up to our tabletop. Exhale, we're going to tuck our toes under and rise up to our downward facing dog. We're going to inhale, lower those knees back down again. Bring the big toes together and sit back towards the heels, forehead to floor. Inhale, rise up to tabletop. Exhale, tuck toes, downward facing dog. Exhale, lower knees down, sit back towards the heels, forehead to floor. Let's do one more of these. So inhale, rise up to your tabletop. Exhale, tuck toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, lower your knees down, sit back towards the heels, forehead to floor. This time let's add in our plank position. So coming from our child's pose, we're going to inhale and rise up to our tabletop. Exhale, tuck toes, a downward facing dog. Inhale, roll our shoulders forward over our wrists. Draw your elbow creases to face towards the front of your mat. And exhale, lower knees down, lower yourself all the way down, untucking the toes. Inhale, roll your shoulders back, rise up to your cobra. Exhale, lower down, forehead to floor. Inhale, press up to tabletop. Exhale, sit back towards the heels, forehead to floor. Inhale, rise up to your tabletop. Exhale, tuck toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll your shoulders forward over your wrists, coming into your plank. Exhale, lower knees down, untuck toes, lower yourself down nice and controlled. Inhale, roll those shoulders back, rise up to your cobra. Elbows should be glued to the ribs. Exhale, lower down, forehead to floor. Inhale, press back up to tabletop, and exhale, sit back towards the heels, forehead to floor. Let's do one more of those. Inhale, rise up to your tabletop. Exhale, tuck toes, a downward facing dog. Exhale. Inhale, roll your shoulders forward over your wrists, coming into your high plank. This time you can either continue with the lowering the knees down, or let's just lower ourselves down all the way down nice and controlled. Untuck the toes. Inhale, roll those shoulders back, rise up to your cobra. Exhale, lower down, forehead to floor. Inhale, press up to tabletop. Exhale, sit back towards the heels, forehead to floor. And let's just pause here for about 3 breaths. And when you're ready, let's slowly just rise ourselves up. And we're going to just step our right leg forward as we set up for a low lunge. Make sure you've got knee to heel alignment with that front leg. And then we want to squeeze our thighs together and then inhale both hands up. So reaching up nice and tall, plug the arms down into the sockets. Hold it here for about 2 breaths. And then from here, let's take our right hand, catch a hold of the left wrist, and let's come into that side stretch as we come over to the right side. Bring that side stretch into that left waist. And slowly just release those hands back up. And we're going to just draw up, take our hands down towards our hips, or we're going to use them to press into our front thigh. We're going to tuck our toes under at the back, and we're going to press up into our high lunge. So that knee should still be into a bent knee, in alignment with our heel. We're just extending out this back leg. From here, either keeping your hands onto that front thigh or hands onto hips, we're going to lunge back down into that back leg, just hovering that leg off the ground. And then slowly rise up to that high lunge. Let's do that one more time. So let's lunge back down with that back leg. Good. And slowly rise back up. And from here, we're just going to step this back leg all the way forward. And we're going to inhale our hands up and exhale into heart center. Inhale, circle your hands up. Exhale into prayer. One last time, inhale. Holding here, and as we exhale, right hand on hip, left hand over top of head, side stretch. And inhale, both hands up. Exhale, left hand on hip, right hand over top of head. Inhale, both hands up. This time we're going to swan dive as we exhale and fold forward into our Uttanasana, our standing forward bend. From here, we could grab hold of our elbows and have a gentle sway from side to side. Come back to center. Relax your arms down. And then inhale your hands to the top of shins or the thighs. Draw that belly in. Press your sitting bones right back. Draw those shoulders away from the ears. Exhale as we fold forward. Inhale, hands up to the top of shins or thighs. Halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward. This time we're going all the way up, so circle your hands all the way up. And exhale into prayer. Nice. And we're going to step our left leg back one more time. Take your hands to your hips. Come up onto that back tippy toe as we're sitting up for a high lunge. Knee to heel alignment, lunging into that front leg. And then let's just slowly take that left leg down towards the ground, just hovering off. And then rise it back up to a straight leg. Do that one more time. All the way down. And then rise it back up. This time we are going all the way down to your mat. So let's lunge that back leg down. All the way down towards the floor. Good. Untuck your toes and you can just slide that right leg back. Nice. All right, we're going to go on to the other side. So this time we're going to step our left leg back forward. Sitting up again for our low lunge. Knee to heel alignment. We're going to squeeze our thighs together. Tuck our tailbone under and inhale our hands up towards the ceiling. I'm going to hold it here for a couple of breaths. And then we're going to take that left hand, catch a hold of that right wrist, come over into our side stretch. And then slowly let's release those hands back up. And you can take them once again down towards that front thigh or hands onto hips. We're going to tuck our toes under on that right foot at the back. And we're going to press up, rising to our high lunge, extending into this back leg. Then slowly let's lunge back down, hovering that leg off the ground. And slowly rise back up. One more time, let's slowly lunge back down, just hovering off the floor. You know, really feel it into this quad. And slowly rise back up. From here, we're going to take that back leg and step it all the way forward. And then you're going to inhale, circle your hands up, and exhale into prayer. Inhale. Exhale into heart center. One last time. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, right hand on hip, left hand over top of head. Inhale, both hands up. Exhale, left hand on hip, right hand over top of head. Then inhale, both hands up. And then exhale as we swan dive and fold forward into our standing forward bend. Hands onto our forearms or elbows. Have that gentle sway from side to side. Come back to center, release your arms down. Inhale your hands to shins and halfway lift. Draw your belly in. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Press your shoulders away from the ears. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, circle your hands all the way up. Exhale into heart center. Inhale. Exhale into prayer. One last time. Inhale. And then exhale, release your hands to your hips. We're going to step our right leg back again. Coming into our high lunge, so lunging forward into that front leg, knee to heel alignment. Extending back into that back leg. And then we're going to just bend that back knee down towards the ground, hold it there, and then rise back up. Do that one more time. Coming down, just hovering off the ground, and then rise back up. This time we're going all the way to the floor. So let's start to lunge that right leg, bend that right leg all the way down, nice and controlled. Untuck the toes, and just slide that front foot back. Make your way into your tabletop, and from here, knees are wide, toes are together, big toes together, sit back towards the heels, and let's pause into a child's pose. Take about 3 centering breaths here. And then slowly just rise yourself back up. We're going to make our way onto our backs and come into a twist. Just going to grab a prop. So we're coming down, just lying onto our backs. Our legs are in a bench knee position, hip width apart. I'm going to press into my feet and just rise my hips up off the floor. Take my hips over towards the left side and just place them down onto the floor. And then just drop both of my legs stacked over towards that right side. If your top leg is not going all the way down, you can grab a prop, whatever you've got, cushion or roll blanket. I'm just using a block, and we can place it in between our legs. Or our alternative is we don't take the bottom leg all the way down, we just place an elevator underneath that back leg. And then take our arms into our T-shape or our cactus arms. And we're going to pause here for about 5 or so breaths. You can just close your eyes down and take a moment just to tune back into the breath. And just noticing that gentle rise and fall of your belly. Taking one last breath here. And then just gently flutter open the eyes And we're going to just draw our legs back to center. Just squaring back those hips. And we'll go on to the other side. So press into your feet. Rise your hips up off the floor. Let's take them over towards that right side and place them back down. And this time we'll be taking both of our legs stacked over towards the left. Once again, just grabbing any props we need, so you can pop your block in between your legs or place it underneath. So just finding what feels more comfortable for you. And arms are back into our T shape or our cactus arms. Making sure both of our shoulder blades are firmly grounded down onto the mat. So if your shoulder blades aren't grounded down, this is where the option probably is to just grab your prop underneath your bottom leg so that you can maintain that connection. Close your eyes down. And let's pause here for 5 breaths. Taking one last breath here. Then draw your legs back up to center, squaring back those hips. Release your arms to your sides. And we'll just sit up for our Shavasana. So just let your arms fall out to the sides, palms facing up. Legs are just going to fall out to the sides. We're not forcing or straining. Completely letting go and just settle into the stillness of your Shavasana.